Good morning. I thought I'd bring you along for a quiet day at the farmhouse. Most days, I find joy in the ordinary things like cooking, tending to the flower garden, or changing out a few things to make the house feel fresh again. So come along for a little glimpse into my life here at our colonial farmhouse on the prairie. Mornings here are usually quiet and the house is still. I always start with a cup of hot tea to sip as I look out the window and just take it all in. Hello my friends, welcome back to the farmhouse. I am excited to have you joining me today for just a slow day of doing a little baking and some flower tending and gonna do a little decorating to try to add some more time-worn charm to my colonial style farmhouse. This morning I am making a simple, comforting recipe that brings back warm memories from my childhood. Drop biscuits. My mom used to make these some mornings and she made them in a cast iron skillet, usually just like this one. And so I just can't help but think of her when I make these. Let's start with the ingredients. Nothing fancy, just what you probably already have in your pantry. All-purpose flour, baking powder, salt, butter, and milk. The flour I'm using is made from red wheat. You can't really tell, but it is a little different from other all-purpose white flour. Red wheat is a whole grain and it is considered an old grain, meaning that it has remained largely unchanged for centuries, unlike others that have undergone genetic modification. It's rich in B vitamins, iron, zinc, and magnesium. Bread just seems to get a bad rap these days, and though it is a carb, so you may not want to eat a lot of it, especially if you're doing a low-carb diet, it is good knowing that something as simple as a biscuit can be nourishing, especially when it's made with a flour that our ancestors might have used too. It's old-fashioned in the best way. The best thing about making these biscuits is there's no rolling pin involved. Just plop them into a warm, buttered skillet and they're ready to go in the oven. These biscuits are rustic, quick to throw together, and the kind you eat warm, drizzled with honey. They bake up with golden tops and tender, steamy centers. There's something sacred about passing down a simple thing like this. A biscuit recipe, a quiet morning, and a sweet memory. That's a great way to start the day. I don't always eat breakfast outside, but I do try to sit outside and get some of the early morning sun every day. So this morning I thought, why not combine the two? There's something special about the first light of day. Early morning sunlight does more than just feel good. It helps set our body's natural rhythm, boosting mood, supporting sleep later, and of course helping us to make vitamin D. I don't always get outside early enough to see the first light of day, but I still like a quiet morning in the sun, even if it's a little later in the morning. Right outside the dining room, I've planted a little flower bed. It's layered and cottagey, anchored by a weathered concrete bird bath. I enjoy watering the flowers in the mornings and seeing how they're doing, if there are any new blooms or maybe some maintenance that needs done. There's always a weed or two to pull. This bed holds some of my favorites, like salvia, daylilies, and marigolds. It also holds some that are new to me, like Shasta daisies, larkspurs, hollyhocks, and coleopsis. The hollyhocks are known to be a very old flower, and I remember that they were one of my granny's favorites, and she had them in her garden. I'm so glad that my friend gave me some seeds from hers so that now I can have them in my garden too. And I can't forget the cone flowers in the fence row. They have just been showing off lately. What I love most about gardening is how each flower has its moment, and together they make this space feel alive and a little wild. One of the things I love most about living in an old-style farmhouse is the way decorating becomes less about trends and more about atmosphere. In colonial homes, beauty wasn't something you bought. It was something you made with what you had. A few sprigs from the garden, a well-worn textile, a handmade candle. That's all it takes to make a space feel alive. Although I may not make all those things myself, I do try to decorate with intention. Every object has a story, or at least a feeling. If it brings warmth, memory, or meaning, it earns a place. Up here in the loft, I have been wanting to create a retreat. Just something that is quiet and simple, and most of all, comfortable. When I saw this quilt from Pottery Barn, I knew that it was just going to be the perfect addition to this space. It's got that timeless look that I love, and the muted color, it just goes so perfectly with the color palette in this room. Sometimes the smallest changes make the biggest difference, and this quilt has definitely added to that time-worn charm that I am trying to achieve in this space. Up here, I keep the decorating simple, of course. Just a few heirloom pieces, a simple soft throw, and just some vintage finds. This room really doesn't need much though. I just want it to invite people to rest and relax and pick up a book and read, or just take life easy. This is what my Shasta daisies looked like just a week or so ago, but they've since faded, and I'm going to work on the task of deadheading them to keep them all blooming through the season. It's as simple as pinching or snipping just above a healthy leaf or bud. Actually, I just found a new bud right here. This process signals the plant to stop putting energy into seed and start pushing out more blooms. I did read somewhere though that you should leave some of the flowers to turn to seed. Hopefully in a week or so I'll start to see a lot more buds forming. This is one of those satisfying little garden tasks where you see the reward almost immediately. Deadheading is a quiet kind of tending, where you are an encourager, and the garden always listens. Here's a look back at the planting stage of this area. We didn't even have our yard fence up yet. Look what I found just under the shade of the larger plants. I've spotted a few new flowers coming up. These are volunteer marigolds from the annuals that I planted last year. That's the thing about gardening. When you tend to what's already growing, the garden often surprises you with something new. It's a small reminder that gardens don't always follow the rules, and I love that. Golden hour is upon us. Our day is winding down. Let's take our evening walk. Yes, I take Sylvie for a walk in the evenings, even if I just carry her. She's 13 years old now, and it seems not that long ago she would run as fast as she could up the road and then back. Then she began taking slower walks. I lovingly called them sniff walks, where she strolled along and sniffed the grass and the flowers and anything else that caught her attention. Sometimes she still wants to walk, but mostly I just carry her, and she takes in the views and sniffs the fresh air. The chickens will be going to bed soon. Are you ready to go to bed, Rue? Come on, Rue. Come on, buddy. Come on. Now Reuben's in for the night, and I'm headed back in too. Are you wanting me to go cook? You want me to go cook, don't you? Sylvie knows when it's time to cook, and she is not shy about reminding me. Thank you for spending the day with me. It really means more than you know. Life in this farmhouse is quiet, but never dull. There's always something to tend to, and always a little beauty waiting to be noticed. If you enjoyed spending this slow day with me, be sure and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.